Hello everybody, welcome to part 3 of the PHP object-oriented login form. And now we're going to start off by creating the database. So we'll create a new database, call it login. And inside this database, we're going to have a table called login. And we'll have a user ID, username, and password. We're just going to make it super basic. And we're going to have this a primary index and auto increment. Username will be varchar64 and same with the password. We'll save it and let's insert username called admin and a password with an MD5 encryption that's also admin. So here we got our data, and now let's create a user that's admin. So username will be admin, the host we'll use localhost, password admin, and we'll just grant all privileges. And there we go. So we've created our database and our user. So now let's go back to our code and we'll pick up from where we left off. So in this prepare statement, say select username, password from login, where username is equal to, we'll have a placeholder for username, and password is equal to password. And next, since we have placeholders, we're going to bind param, which is binding parameters to those placeholders. So we'll have username, and we're going to call the private variables that we have. So this username, and we'll duplicate that for the password. And let's execute it. Alright, so now we've completed our SQL script, and so let's have an if statement saying if the row count is not equal to 0. So basically we're checking and saying that if something exists, we'll return true, and if it is equal to 0, we'll return false. And that concludes our checkDB function. So inside the login function, we're going to say if check db is equal to true. Actually, sorry about that. We'll do if this check db is equal to true, then we are going to create a session called user, and this will be equal to the username. And so we want to create a session. So basically once you've logged in, the session is created, and if there are multiple pages, you can scroll through the multiple pages and it's going to check if the session's created, which means the user's logged in. So if it's not equal to true, which means the username and password didn't exist, so it's incorrect, we'll just say the username, or let's say username or password is incorrect. And then here, if it is correct, we're going to do a redirect to the index file. And right here. Let's do this and call the login function. So that looks like that concludes our login class. So now let's go back to the index file and put some of the logic for the submit. So we'll say if set post login. So if the user clicks the login button, we'll say username is equal to post username. Same thing for the password. Oops. And let's trim the username. So if there are any extra characters in there, it'll get rid of those. And we'll do the same for the password. Except for the password, since it is MD5 encrypted, we'll throw MD5 around there. And that's all good. We'll require the login.php. And we're going to create a new login object. So login is equal to new login. And then we will pass the username and password variables. Alright, so now let's just take a look at this and see if I did everything correctly. So we'll do admin, and login, connection on line 12, and common mistake, forgot a semicolon. So let's go back and try that again. So we won't actually know if anything if we're logged in because I don't have anything outputting. So we'll do if set session user. So we're checking if the session that is user is set. So basically we're checking if the user is logged in. So we'll say echo you are logged in as and we'll output the session right here. And we'll just put a break. And then we'll also create a logout button while we're at it. Ahref is equal to, we'll make it as a get variable. Logout is equal to true. We'll say log out. And let's test it out, see if it works. Line 12. And what did I do wrong here? Oh, put a colon instead of a semicolon. Let's take a look at it. Admin. Nothing. I discovered my mistake. I was using sessions and I forgot to start the session. So we'll do session start. We'll get rid of this to clean up a bit. And we'll take a look at it. So we'll do admin, and there we go, it's working. So now let's go back and create the logout functionality. So we'll do if set get logout, because remember we have a get variable in the URL URL right here that's log out. We'll unset the session. Unset session user, and we'll redirect it to the index page. Location index.php and exit. So let's try it out. Press log out, and we're logged out. Let's make sure it's all working. Yep. And we can also clean it up a bit if we take this form and actually put it inside here. Or, sorry about that. Put an else statement and put it inside here. That way, if the session's not set, then the form will show up. If it is set, the form will no longer show up. And instead of having to put that in echo, we can just close the PHP right there and then open it up again. So let's try it out. Reload. And there we go. Now let's log out and it shows up again. So that pretty much concludes our tutorial. And it's basically just basic object-oriented PHP form. There you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, comment, rate, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there's any kind of tutorials you guys want to see or anything else you want me to do. Thank you very much.